All right, so we're going to install Google Analytics 4 on a WordPress site today. We're going to do it through Google Tag Manager. And I recommend using a plugin called GTM for WordPress, and more about that later. So we are going to set up a Google Tag Manager account. We will create a GA4 property, and we will integrate your WordPress site with Google Analytics 4. Let's get into it. Here we are in Google Tag Manager, and we're going to need to create a Google Tag Manager account and a Google Tag Manager container, and I'll explain why you do both of those. We're going to do it for our travel blogging website, and I'll show you here. Here is our travel blogging website. We got some blog posts and we've got a free guide. We want to track the website visitors for this site, so we got to start with creating a Google Analytics integration with our website, and to do that we are going to use Google Tag Manager. So back in Google Tag Manager, let's create an account right over here. Create account. Let's call it Yellow Peregrine, United States. Container name, let's just go with the website name itself. So www.yellowperegrine.com. Is it .com or .ca? It's .com. We're going to choose web and create. We're just going to accept the terms. And what it'll do immediately is it'll spit out the tracking script that you can paste on your website. Now we're going to use an easier method, so I wouldn't worry about this. You can just exit out of your script dialog there. And what you can do is, if you want that in the future, right up here, Google Tag Manager with your container ID, you can just click on this and it'll give you your script whenever you need it. So now that we've created an account, this is our container, as you see right here, this website. So our account is Yellow Peregrine and our container name is the website itself. So you can see here that you can have multiple websites in one container. So the next thing we want to do is let's install Google Tag Manager for WordPress on our WordPress site. You'll want to navigate to Plugins and Add New. In the search bar, let's add Google Tag Manager for WordPress. You can search GTM for WordPress. And it's this one that comes up first here with the orange picture. Install now. And let's click activate. So once you've activated Google Tag Manager for WordPress, it'll show up in your settings. So if we scroll down on the side panel to settings here, and we come over to Google Tag Manager, this is where we can change our Google Tag Manager settings for our website now that we've installed Google Tag Manager for WordPress. So as you can see right here, it wants us to add our Google Tag Manager ID. So if we go back into Google Tag Manager, you can see your container ID right here. Again, if we click into the container, you can see it at the top here as well. And no matter where you are, all you need to do is just copy that and paste it right into Google Tag Manager for WordPress. So we'll just paste it and we'll come down and click Save Changes. Now, once you've saved your container ID, there are a couple things to keep in mind with this plugin. What you're going to want to do if you have WooCommerce installed, if you have an e-commerce, then go over to the Integration tab and click on WooCommerce and turn on Track Enhanced E-commerce. Now, I don't have an e-commerce, but I just wanted to show you this so that if you want to track purchase data, this is the place to come if you're doing a Google Tag Manager installation. One thing you'll want to make sure to do in GTM for WordPress is to click the On button here for our container to be in the head and body of our website. So this has to be on, and make sure to do that so that we can see the data come in Google Analytics 4. The next thing we will want to do is create the GA4 property. So let's go to Google Analytics. Here we're inside my castaponch.com Google Analytics account, and we are going to create a new GA4 property. And you can do that by, if you're at the home page, your screen will look something like this. You'll want to come down to your admin panel and select it to see this screen. And so on this screen, what you'll want to do is remember that this is for your account level information, and this over here is for your property level information. So if I created a new account, it would be an account that I could give access to, and I could have multiple GA4 properties under it. But if I just want to create a property, it's under the property level section right here. So let's create a new property by selecting Create Property. Now we name the property. Select your country, time zone, and currency. Click Next. Select the size of business. Select category. Click Next. Now you can just select all of these. These are different basic setups. So what I mean by that is when you install GA4 and you launch your Google Analytics, there will be a basic reporting section that gives you information from your website. So that will change based on what you select here. Now, naturally, what I do is just select them all because you can just remove some later that you don't want. And you can select all by just clicking Get Baseline Reports. Multiple types of reports. This option can't be combined with other options. This just gives us everything, and then we can remove what we don't want later. So we select our platform and it's web. We enter in our website URL. We have a stream name as well here, and that can be unique in any way. The stream name just refers to your property. And this enhanced measurement is automatically selected. You can leave that on, and we will create the stream. So this is the first pop-up that will come as you've created your property. And what it wants you to do is manually install Google Analytics 4 tracking script on your website. Obviously, we're doing it through Google Tag Manager, so we don't need this. So let's just exit out of the installation instructions. And instead, let's just take note of our measurement ID. So this measurement ID comes with your property. This is how Google Analytics determines where to send the data from your website. So the next thing we'll want to do is connect this Google Analytics 4 property to our Google Tag Manager account. Let's navigate back to Google Tag Manager. So here inside our Google Tag Manager account, you can see our container ID again, yellowperegrine.com. So what we need to do is we need to create a tag for Google Tag Manager to send the data from our website to our Google Analytics 4 property so we can see the data. So let's go into tags and let's create what we call our GA4 configuration tag. This is what sets the page view event, and again, make sure that Google Analytics sends or receives the data from our website. Let's click on New. Let's name this GA4 configuration tag. The next thing you'll want to do is click on Tag Configuration anywhere in the box, and you'll click on Google Analytics, and we will do Google Tag, load the Google Tag associated with the Google Analytics stream. So this is what we will select. And what it's going to do is it's going to want you to put in your tag ID here. So what we do is we go to our Google Analytics property, and we grab our measurement ID right here, click copy. We paste this in the tag ID section. Configuration settings, don't need that. Trigger, all pages. So we want this tag to fire on all our website pages. And that's it. Now you just save. And what we want to do to take that live is we click submit at the top right corner here. Let's just give it a version name. So added GA4 config tag and click publish. So that version is live. Now we can test that. So to reiterate here, what we've done is we've added the GTM ID for our container inside WordPress. So this is connected to our Google Tag Manager account. In Google Tag Manager, we created a tag that connects Google Tag Manager to our Google Analytics property through the measurement ID. So let's go to our home page, and it says here no data received yet from your website. Let's test this. So come down to the admin section and let's scroll down on the property level. Let's go down to debug view. Nothing will come in, but we're going to use this in a moment. So what we want to do now is we want to test this configuration tag. This configuration tag obviously connecting Google Analytics 4 to our Google Tag Manager account, which in return is connected to our website. So if we test this tag here, it should show while we're navigating on our website the data coming into Google Analytics 4. Let's test that now. Come into preview mode, and you'll need to enter your URL. We'll click connect. And if successful, your website will come up. You can interact with your website, click around to some buttons, and you'll see it populate inside your Google Tag Manager debug. So as you can see here, we had a link click, and if we click on variables here, we can see what kind of data was passed through. So for example, page host name, the data that was passed through was yellowperegrine.com, and for refer, you can see here that it was GTM debug. So lots of information that we can get from Google Tag Manager preview mode, and hence why I recommend using Google Tag Manager as well, because you can build out custom events and you can see the data come from your website and you can gather more insights that way. Let's take a look at our Google Analytics 4 property to see the data come in. So right now we are in debug mode for our Google Analytics 4 property, and you can see here the data come in live. So we've successfully connected our website via Google Tag Manager to our Google Analytics 4 property. So if I click on page view here, you can even see that if we go to debug mode, it is 1 for true. So we are in debug mode. That was us as a user. You can also come down to page refer to see that as well. So yellowperegrine.com. So this would have been, that means that the page location was index.php. So your free guide. So that was the page we landed on. The page refer was our homepage, yellowperegrine.com. And the page title was your free guide, Yellow Peregrine. So all this data gets sent into Google Analytics 4 with the page view event. And now you've successfully connected your WordPress site to your Google Analytics 4 property.